Daily Mail.
Great reasons to watch.
The biggest stories of the day and the most compelling true crime. Daily Mail TV.
Weekdays at 4 on KTLA 5.
Good morning. I'm Eric Spillman in for Frank Buckley. A prominent figure and voice throughout the coronavirus pandemic and other health crises in our nation is stepping down after more than 5 decades of service. The details next.
Good morning. I'm Erin Myers in historic South Central. A 17-year-old struck and killed by 2 drivers, and police say it was deliberate. All the latest in a live report.
Good morning. I'm Jessica Holmes. City of Long Beach resuming utility shutoffs and late fees that started during the height of the pandemic, when customers will now be expected to pay up.
Good morning. I'm Sam Rubin. We're live here in Inglewood. This is the YouTube Theater right next door to SoFi. Smokey Robinson, the legend, joins us live, and so too, rock stars get up this early. Chase Atlantic will be live too.
And in the weather forecast, skies clear from most areas. Some of the coastal areas still a little bit of fog, but that should be clearing out by about 11:45, 12 o'clock. 72 will be the high of the beaches. Downtown Los Angeles, 78, 93 San Fernando Valley, 83 Orange County Inland, Inland Empire 96, High Desert 106. Jessica, back to you.
Mark, thank you. Developing news now in North Long Beach, where police are investigating a shooting death near Compton College. According to Long Beach police, they were called just after 11:45 to the scene on 68th Street, that's near Harbor Avenue, after reports of gunshots. When they arrived, they found a man with multiple gunshot wounds to his upper body. The unidentified victim was declared dead at the scene. No suspect information has been released, and a motive for the shooting remains under investigation. The LAPD is looking for at least 2 suspects accused of running over and killing a teenager outside of a party in the Florence section of South LA.
That teenager was run over by 2 different cars, and the drivers took off. KTLA's Aaron Myers is live outside Santee High School, where the victim had just started his senior year. Aaron?
Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Jess. As of this morning, no arrests have been made. They are still looking for those 2 drivers, and we are told this investigation is ongoing. As you said, that young man, he went to school here at Santee High School, and we do know counselors are available to meet with students and staff who may need emotional support. The victim has been identified as Matthew Lobos, and he was just starting his senior year at the school, according to family. We are told Lobos was attending an underground party at a parking lot in an industrial area of South Los Angeles near 62nd Street and Avalon Boulevard early morning Sunday. Now, according to witnesses, about 150 people were in attendance when some type of argument or fight broke out. Family members believe Lobos may have intervened, saying he would not initiate the altercation, though. Moments later, the driver of a white sedan purposely ran over the 17-year-old. Witnesses say the driver then crashed into a light pole and ditched the car. Then another driver in what is believed to be a black Maserati SUV also ran him over, then reversed and ran him over again. That driver fled the scene. Police say this vicious act was deliberate, though they don't know if Lobos was the target, as the suspects drove back and forth down the street a couple times in an attempt to strike partygoers, according to police. At this time, there isn't a description of those suspects. We did speak to students here at Santee High about their loss.
He was popular. I think everybody knew him. He was like bright around school and would always like talk to anyone he saw, really, and brighten everyone's day.
He was always friendly and laughing with friends and telling jokes, and I'm really sorry to hear about what's happened to him.
A GoFundMe page has been set up to help the family. The family is also hoping that those 2 suspects will turn themselves in. Anyone with any information is encouraged to contact the LAPD. Reporting live here in historic South Central, I'm Erin Myers, KTLA 5 News.
Okay, Erin, thank you. California Board of Registered Nursing has suspended the nursing license of the woman charged with killing 6 people in that horrific Windsor Hills crash. Nicole Litton is a traveling nurse, and she'd been working at Kaiser Permanente's West LA Medical Center. She is now charged with 6 counts of murder after speeding and slamming into several vehicles at the intersection of South La Brea and Slauson Avenues on August 4th. Prosecutors say she was driving up to 90 miles an hour before that collision. Prosecutors say alcohol was not a factor in the crash, and it's still not clear what happened in the moments before the crash. If convicted, she faces life in prison. After serving 7 presidents, Dr. Anthony Fauci is leaving government service.
The nation's top infectious disease expert is stepping down in December. KTLA's Trevor Shirley is live in Washington, D.C. with more. Good morning, Trevor.
Eric and Jess, good morning to both of you. This move was not entirely unexpected. Dr. Fauci had talked about stepping down recently at some point, but he says he's not calling this move a retirement. Currently, Dr. Fauci is President Joe Biden's top medical advisor. He's also director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. That's a position he's held since 1984. Dr. Fauci became the public face of the country's COVID-19 response, often facing partisan attacks and controversy over some of his guidance. Fauci often appeared with former President Donald Trump when the pandemic began, but eventually fell out of the former president's favor, as Fauci's desire for continued caution often clashed with Trump's push to return to normalcy. Fauci has advised every U.S. president since Ronald Reagan. He was among the first federal officials to lead the response to the HIV/AIDS crisis when it first appeared. He also helped create one of former President George W. Bush's signature foreign policy achievements, a massive program called PEPFAR, which funds HIV/AIDS education and treatments in Africa that's been credited with saving millions of lives. Some speculated Fauci would step down before next year to avoid being drawn into any investigations Republicans might launch if they retake the House in the midterms. Fauci denied, though, that had anything to do with his decision. Fauci says while he's leaving government service, he says it's not a retirement, saying he'll use his time to inspire young people to enter government service. Again, there's no specific date as to when Dr. Fauci is expected to leave his position, although it is generally accepted that that's going to happen sometime in December. That's the latest here in Washington. We'll send it back to you guys in L.A.
Trevor, thank you. The city of Long Beach is resuming utility shutoffs. The city's Public Works Department will start charging late fees and cutting off utility services to customers who don't pay their gas, water, and trash bills. Long Beach has not charged late fees or threatened to cut off gas, water, or trash services since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic in March of 2020. Penalties for non-paying customers will be phased in slowly. The city says there are currently more than 300 businesses and 12,000 homes behind on their gas, water, or trash bills. You might smell some smoke in parts of L.A. this morning after an odor advisory was issued over the weekend because of a building fire in downtown L.A. The fire happened around 3 a.m. yesterday and tore through a one-story metal building in the 1600 block of East 14th Street near Alameda Street. It took 150 firefighters nearly 90 minutes to get the fire under control. Crews were able to protect nearby businesses from catching fire. No injuries were reported. It is not clear what caused the fire.
I noticed it when I woke up yesterday.
You could smell it?
Big time, and I even went online to see was something burning or...
Was there something special in that building that, you know,
I don't know.
buildings catch on fire all the time.
Maybe the way the wind was blowing or something.
Okay. We don't have to worry about the winds today. A little bit of a breeze this morning, though. That felt real nice, and that could be continuing in certain cities. Otherwise, temperatures still on the mild side. It's going to heat up, though, for the middle of the week. 80 yesterday, 84 is the average, 96